All right, Tiegan, this is Tiegan Gamble. She's going to be talking about the festival and her experience of the festival.
I think I've lost you.
No, you're here. You're here, have you got me?
Oh, yeah, I've got you.
Yeah, good. So she's going to be talking about all the things festival and her experience of it, talking about her choreography, talking about her lead up into the festival from September, and also about the day itself. All right, Tiegan, over to you.
So I'm going to start by just going through what I'm going to talk about, just reiterate on what you've said. So I'm going to talk about my build-up experience towards the festival day, and what my role entailed and how I contributed to making the festival a potential success. And then part B, I'm going to talk about my choreographic journey and my intentions behind my piece for the show. And then part C is going to be my structure of the day, so how I would have organised the day from my point of view and sitting with other people as well. So I'm going to start with the build-up to the festival. So my role as artist liaison officer, so initially what I did when I got the role was go away and research the role, because we had our roles assigned to us once we'd established venues, once we'd established what festivals were, how we were to put out a festival to a general public. So my role was obviously being able to communicate with external people via emails, social media accounts maybe, being able to organise and just try to get some confirmations from the artist's point of view within our festival. So once I got that role, I'd gone away, done my research and knew that I needed to pick 3 artists, email, see if they're available, get some contracts printed out, some confirmations done. But I wanted to make sure that amongst the group we were quite happy with the 3 that we selected. We obviously knew that once we'd established the venue, which is Z Arts, it's quite a cultural, diverse environment because it's in the setting of Hume in Manchester, and they actually say itself if it's a place to express, needed to get 3. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you're doing very well, talking about Z Arts.
Yeah, we knew that we had to create 3, we had to get 3 diverse, completely different artists in order to fulfil this idea of like a celebration of imagination, place of expressionism, just being able to be culturally diverse, and our theme of being unique. And yeah, so we come up with the idea of getting Tanika, Natalie and Josh, 3 completely different artists, urban style, jazz backgrounds, contemporary backgrounds, all from different walks of life. They all agreed to do it once I sent an initial welcome email and asked if they were available. Luckily we knew these 3 artists as well due to previous networking, like for example working on site-specific shows, and they were all ready to go. They were all really excited about it. So I printed off contractual agreements just to make sure that everything was safe, legal, for them to come into the workshops, perform the workshops, and etc. So once we did that, it was all good to go. Tanika is London-based, so we knew that transportation needed to be covered for him to get up here, which was quite a bit of a difficult one, but I'll come back to that in due course. So we spoke about class capacity, we wanted to know what they were comfortable with. Also another big thing was dietary requirements on my behalf, because I wanted to be able to provide them beverages, food whilst they were with us for the whole day. They were really, really good with replying to me, so we got really good answers really, really quickly. And yeah, class capacities worked well within the requirements of Z Arts as well, because it was we could only have 60 within a room. And they were actually quite lucky and good to say that our class size, they wanted smaller class sizes. So that worked really, really well in terms of us then liaising back to Z Arts. And it just flowed really smoothly. Another part of my role was being able to liaise with Yandas, an external artist who was going to come in and do a pre-show for us before our evening performance. So Yandas was going to create a brand new work and kind of pitch it on the evening of our dance festival, and able to basically get a run at it and see what it brought some complications with it because she then needed rehearsal. I need to be able to get rehearsal space, and at times it wasn't available to her, and it got quite heated within certain moments, and then it was just, I then decided that it wasn't the bestest of ideas to come and put a new work on that so soon and she didn't have any availability of space. So that just kind of taught me to be able to liaise quite professionally. So moving on from there in terms of artist liaison, it then got a bit tricky in relation to the COVID-19 situation. So I knew that contingency plans had to be put in place because I knew the artist. I knew Natalie right now is currently in Australia. So I knew that a contingency plan in case she wouldn't be able to fly back to the UK would need to be put in place, i.e. someone else running her workshop.
And who would that have been?
Say that again, sorry.
And who would that have been?
Well, within the times that Natalie, so if I just pull the timetable, so Natalie had 2 workshops at different times. So I wanted to see, it's obviously from a jazz point of view, so having the scope and looking at the people that we've got amongst our group, it could be either me, it could be Emily Brocklebank, it could be MJ. So in terms of on the day, in the roles, mine would obviously be with the artist. Emily was my support within that, and MJ was overseeing everything that was going on. So I would like to say that I could have run the workshop in order to free other members of the group up if anything else was needed within the space, within the building. So that was my contingency plan that was going to be brought into place at the time. And again, if Tanaka's trains were cancelled from London and he'd struggled to make his way up here, we'd turn to, for example, Annalisa, who knows Tanaka quite well, has worked with him before, and has a feel of the urban style that he wanted to fulfil within the workshop. So I'd then turn to Annalisa and see if she was available to do it. But in the worst case scenario, I would put myself first to do it, as my role is working within the artists.
Yeah.
And making sure their workshops run smoothly. So I would be the backup in case something went wrong.
Great.
So that's my role as artist liaison so far. I also had quite a good involvement within the technical element of the show. So I collated all the music for our evening performance, mixed them, cut them down, edited parts, added beats onto people's music, and then I finally managed to put them onto one sound file. We transferred it last night, Simon, for you to hear. So yeah, that worked quite well, and then we was going to put it onto the Q Lab, and then Richard would take it from there and equalise it, making sure the volume pitches are right, and just making sure that all the transition gaps are filled correctly. But obviously due to the show being cancelled at the last minute, we decided to put the show on the Tuesday night. So in not to save the situation of putting them onto a Q Lab, all I did was sit there with the MacBook and with the sound file on Audacity, and if there was pitches that were too high or volumes that were too high, I manually just switched them around as the show was running. So it was just a case of being able to work on the spot and being able to just adjust it as you go. And I think that worked quite well because we managed to put on quite a good show despite the circumstances. So moving on to within the show, a bit more detail within the show. My choreographic intentions for the evening performance, I'll give a quick brief. So in order to fulfil this idea of uniqueness and diversity within dance, each one of our team members all specify or prefer a certain style of dance that is quite unique in itself. For example, so we have like Afro, salsa, jazz, contemporary, lyrical, commercial, which was quite unique to ourselves, and we could kind of show ourselves off in a way. So my role was lyrical. It's my favourite style, of course, and I just love being able to tell stories through the balletic gestural movement. being able to put on a narrative through down to finding lyrical is really lovely to watch. It's like going to watch ballet, but it's more like a postmodern feel to it with still ballet technical elements in. So when I was given the role of lyrical, I went straight away and researched, looked at themes and intentions within my piece, and I began with this idea of having unity. So I took this idea of like a top shot. I think it was more from West Side Story that I took it from. So they use quite a lot of top shots within their pieces, and you see a dancer perform a certain movement and they do it in unity, and every dancer looks the same, and it's just this idea of having a unified group within the piece. So I started with this idea and it was put into my piece and it looked really, really good. But then once I showcased my work to Simon and the team, Simon gave us the challenge of being able to showcase, well, not showcase, but maybe like manipulate a certain body part in a form of gesture, dynamics, action, space, relationships. So as I went away and had a further route into how I could take my piece, the song that I actually chose was a Billie Eilish song, and it was about this idea of being able to touch and being able, it's like a bit of a love story. It's called Listen Before I Go, and it's quite an emotional piece. So I had this idea of duets being put in. They were going to have some contact work, some physical theatre, maybe some gestural movements. For example, it was running down a face, so we wanted this actual gestural movement to take place. And it did link really, really well with the music, and that's how my duets evolved. So the difficulties that I faced and within my journey was I had dancers injured, I had dancers drop out due to COVID-19 right up until dinner time of the actual show day. So it was a case of having to reblock the number. And another really important fact which I've just remembered was I was told that the dancers are no longer not allowed to touch each other. So this whole idea of being able to manipulate each person's movement was really, really difficult because I choreographed a piece that was the main motive throughout. So it was really interesting to be able to like take that step back and look like they have a barrier in between the duets, which is what you see in the actual videos themselves.
Yes.
So yeah, it was really quick way of developing.
Tiegan.
And it did look quite effective in the end.
Tiegan.
I was quite happy with.
I don't know if you can hear me, Tiegan.
With how my piece, the time circumstance, the dancers.
Tiegan.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
You've only really got a minute left. I would love you to talk about the day.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. So, within my day, my preparation for the day, I'd be going on the food shop for the artist, making sure that nibbles, fruit, sandwiches, bottled water, we'd bring the pot from the party in and have it all in the green room, ready to go. The green room's really important as it's the artist's chill out space. They were able to just relax and have a step away from the festival, being able to have lunch in there, contact, make some networking with the rest of the team. We go for the provocations that were given for the Q&A festival, being able to look at social media and seeing if they can help in any other way. In the morning at the tech, we did a tech run at 10 a.m. That was just a drive tech with all the dancers, and obviously I was with my role in music. I was up with Simon, Richard and MJ, trying to help in any way I can. And then at 11 o'clock, once the dancers come in, that was my responsibility to get them on and off stage as efficiently as I can, as quick as I can, and try and get a tech and a dressing fulfilled in about 2.5 hours. Once it does, can you hear me?
I can, but I'm going to have to ask you to stop now.
Okay.
We've run out of time, I'm afraid. Give me 1 second. No, that's okay.